Yeah, go on.
Cool. Hello, I'm here with Diane, so we are doing another one of our little YouTube videos. Again, I'm still in Norfolk, as I was earlier, and you've been on training with me today. If you'd just like to introduce yourself and what your current role is.
My name is Diane, and my current role is I am the senior carer at Clarence House.
How long have you worked with us for?
About 3 years now.
Yeah, and this is not the first place you've worked with us, is it? You worked with us in one of our other homes.
I did, yeah, with learning disabilities.
Learning disabilities.
Yeah.
How long have you worked in care in general?
In general, about 25 years. Yeah.
So how did you get into care? Why are you still in care from working 25 years later?
I'm still in care because it is so interesting and different every single day. Started off with young children in preschool group, from then moved to full day care, nursery children. The lady then retired and made us all redundant, so from that I went into teenagers with learning and behavioural difficulties.
Right, yeah, nice and simple.
Yeah.
Not complicated, not complex at all.
Not at all. It was quite a big shock when the company that I was working for just closed everything down and gave us redundancy again. And I wanted a job fairly quickly, so decided to do some domiciliary work as a bit of a change. So worked in home care for a number of years, and then decided I would try a residential setting.
So
here I am.
And here you are still, I'm very pleased. So you've worked in lots of different aspects of care. For someone who's wanting to get into care, what's the significance between the different aspects of care? Or is it just the same all the way through, just the clients are different? What do you think?
I think it's very different. The aspects are very different of it. There are key skills that you can transfer across from the different age groups. But I think for me, it was what I was interested in at the time, because I like to keep moving forward with what I'm interested in. And if I feel I've got to a point where I feel I know enough about something and I want to branch out, or something happens in my life where I need to change something, I'll then look at a different area.
You're one of my favourite people when it comes to training. In that, when I allocate you training, it gets done pretty quickly. So I don't have to chase you very often for training to be completed. Is working in care just a job, or is it more than that? Is it just something you go to in the morning, do your work, and then come home?
No, it's a lot more than that, because in my role, if there's staff that are off ill, I would then often stay extra hours until we've managed to get a staff member to cover. So it's more of something you need to enjoy and to kind of give quite a lot and also receive a little bit back. It's more a bit of a vocation than a job.
Yeah, we hear that all the time.
Badly paid.
Yeah, no, we often say that you're not going to get rich working in care. So
No.
what kind of things make up for sometimes the fact that it's not the best paid thing? So satisfaction and stuff.
Exactly.
Can you got an example off the top of your head of where you've gone home feeling I've really made a difference today?
Yeah, job satisfaction is the best bit. When you can go into a client and you've assisted them to sort out a number of problems that they've had during the day, which have really riled them up, and you've gone home and you know that they're calm, they're settled, they're fully understanding what their plan is and where they're going next. And they thank you for it. You can see some of the gratitude. So
we talk
nice.
We talk a lot about empathy and stuff, and you say a lot of things that may have upset someone during the day. To some people, they might seem very trivial or insignificant, but to that person, they might be really important. Like possibly I can't find my glasses, or a letter, or something.
Exactly.
So for having empathy and understanding around how important those things might be to an individual would be very, very important.
It's one of the most important things, have empathy and kindness towards them, and being able to understand their point of view, being very centred on what their needs are at the time and how you can support them to meet those needs.
Yeah. What future aspirations do you have yourself as someone who I know is continuing to grow, always does? We've just done a train the trainer course today, so hopefully you'll be training some of your colleagues up as well when it comes to manual handling and things. So what future aspirations do you have yourself?
For myself, there's two areas that I'm looking at. So at the moment, I'm looking to improve my team leader role. So I've taken on going to take on a level 4 course. Mm-hmm. Also, I'm very interested in the training aspect of it, in being able to mentor and coach the new staff that come in. I need to kind of decide which route I want to go.
I completely understand, because I love that whole mentoring stuff. If you've worked in care as long as we have, and one of the things that I love about the training that I do, and things that I mention to people in training, is that once someone leaves the training room, then your practice as a member of staff in a place of work is going to influence someone else's practice and their learning. And actually getting people to do that, to understand that their practice is really influential, is really, so mentoring is really key. So that's good. Where do you see yourself in the next 3 to 5 years? Do you think about it in that sense, or?
No, I tend to see it slower than that. So I tend to see it as taking each new learning experience as it comes and developing myself forward and seeing how I feel, because it's important that I keep myself healthy and not take on too much in one go, because then I won't be of use to anybody.
You bring up
timescales.
A good point about work-life balance, and it's something that again gets mentioned in care, and about there's been so much in the news and stuff through the pandemic around well-being and people's mental health. So actually finding that work-life balance is key and really important.
It is.
As if anyone was starting out in care or wanted to get into care, what piece of advice would you give them about whether or not they should or shouldn't?
I would suggest that they look at each area of care and the age ranges there are and the different types of care there are, and perhaps approach companies and maybe do a little bit of kind of volunteering or shadowing staff. Obviously they would have to have all the checks done first before doing that, but that's a good way for them to decide which area they would like to start in and develop further with.
Absolutely. As you said, there are so many different aspects of care. I mean, caring across the board is important, but then there are so many aspects that people are interested in. One last question. Would you do anything differently?
I think if I was to do something differently, I think if I had thought about it more earlier in life, I might have chose to go down a nursing route. But my family was more important at that time in my life, so it was a case of work and family balance rather than a full career route. But in hindsight, that's probably the only thing I would do differently.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for talking to me, Diane. I always love coming and talking to you and being up here, so that's good. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. I'll see you soon.